Welcome to Story for Sleeping. I'm your guide to dreaming. Tonight, we're going to travel back in time to the American South after the Civil War. We will meet a community coming together to write letters about their lives, sharing stories and dreams in an act of quiet resistance and empowerment. Before we begin, please consider subscribing to our channel to receive notifications when we release new videos. You can also support us through other platforms. Those links are provided below. So grab your teddy bears, your blankets and your pillows, and settle in for tonight's story. In the years following the Civil War, the southern United States emerged forever changed. Slavery was abolished, but the structures of the Old South persisted, leaving African Americans still trapped within its confines. Across the region, former enslaved people started to navigate this new reality, trying to piece together lives fractured by centuries of oppression. In this period known as Reconstruction, the pace of change was slow, and the reality of the present often fell short of the dreams of freedom and equality. Many African Americans continued to live and work on the same lands where they had been enslaved, now as sharecroppers. While the institution of slavery was officially dissolved, the economic and social dynamics didn't shift dramatically. Sharecropping bound families to the land, and they often had to endure unfair contracts and exploitative practices. The landowners provided them with a place to stay and basic provisions, and took a portion of their crops as payment for rent and for the supplies they had received. This system perpetuated cycles of debt and dependence, making it challenging for African Americans to achieve the land ownership and economic mobility that they yearned for. The harsh realities of sharecropping and the persisting racial prejudice meant that life was not easy. There were times when hope seemed distant, and the weight of their ancestors' struggles and sacrifices felt heavy on their shoulders. And yet, even in the face of these challenges, life went on. The sun rose each morning, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. And as the day wore on, the fields echoed with the sounds of labor and the quiet murmur of shared stories. Evenings brought a respite from the sun's scorching heat, and families gathered on porches, sharing meals and laughter as the fireflies began their nightly dance. It was during these moments, as the day's heat faded and the stars started to appear, that the true strength of the African American community shone brightly. They found solace and strength in their tight-knit communities, sharing stories, hopes, and dreams. These gatherings were not just about passing time or finding comfort. They were about preserving their heritage, passing down their history, and keeping their spirits high. In the telling and retelling of stories, they kept alive the memory of their ancestors, their struggles, and their triumphs. It was a way of honoring their past and using those experiences to shape their future. Imagine a young boy named Elijah sitting on his family's porch. The wood is worn and smooth from years of use, and the paint is chipped off in places, revealing the rich, dark wood beneath. Elijah is listening intently to his grandfather, his eyes wide with wonder. His grandfather is telling stories of a time before slavery when his family lived in Africa, stories of a proud and thriving culture that had been nearly erased by the horrors of the Middle Passage and the brutality of slavery. As the grandfather weaves these tales, Elijah feels a deep sense of pride welling up inside him. These stories aren't just about the past. They're about identity, about belonging, and about strength. Each word is like a brick being placed carefully in the foundation of Elijah's identity. He's learning about his roots, his traditions, and the legacy he's a part of. The porch light flickers, casting dancing shadows on the faces of the listeners. The air is filled with the scent of honeysuckle and the sound of crickets. And as the night deepens, the stories due to becoming more harrowing, more desperate, yet also more inspiring. As the years passed, the stories didn't just entertain or educate. They became a tool for survival, a way to hold on to one's humanity in the face of dehumanization. In a world that tried to strip them of their dignity, these stories were a reminder of who they were and what they had endured. They were a testament to the strength and resilience of their ancestors. And as the younger generation listened, they internalized these stories, making them a part of their own narratives. It was a way to keep the past alive, to honor the sacrifices made, and to carry the torch of their heritage forward. For Elijah and others like him, these stories weren't just tales of the past. They were the building blocks of their identity, the threads that wove together their history, their culture, and their hope for the future. One evening, while sitting on the porch, Elijah's family received a letter. It was written on cheap paper, the kind that seemed almost too thin and flimsy to hold such important words. The letter had traveled from Chicago, brought by a traveling salesman who had made the journey down south. In the flickering lamplight, they read the words, and a hush fell over the family. The letter was from a cousin who had moved north years ago. He wrote about a different life, a life where the sun didn't beat down as relentlessly, where there was work to be had and a chance to earn a decent wage. He spoke of friends and neighbors who had come from the south, who had done the same and were now living better lives. The letter wasn't just about the hardships of the South. It was also about the possibilities that existed elsewhere. It painted a picture of a world where a person's life could change for the better, where hard work and determination could lead to a better future. The words danced before Elijah's eyes, each sentence like a tiny spark, igniting a flame of curiosity within him. He looked around at his family, at the weathered faces etched with the lines of hard work and resilience. He saw the sparkle of hope in their eyes as they discussed the possibility of a better life. That night, under the blanket of a star-studded sky, conversations were hushed and serious. The idea of leaving was daunting, terrifying even. The South was all they had ever known, but the thought of staying, of continuing to live lives dictated by others, filled them with a different kind of fear. For the first time, they dared to dream of a life beyond the cotton fields and the share. As days turned into weeks, the family pored over maps, tracing the paths that led north. They spoke to other families who had made the journey, learning about the challenges they had faced and the triumphs they had achieved. With each conversation, their resolve grew stronger. They saved every penny, scrimping and saving, pooling their resources to make the dream of a better life a reality. Then came the day when their plans were set. They had decided to follow Elijah's cousin to Chicago. Saying goodbye to the only home they had ever known was heartbreaking. But the promise of a better life, a life filled with hope and opportunity, spurred them forward. As they boarded the train, the wheels groaning beneath them, they knew they were embarking on something extraordinary. They left behind the familiar landscape, the fields that had been their constant companions, and ventured into the unknown. The journey north was long and arduous. The train rattled over the tracks, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of the family. As the days went by, the landscape changed, the towns and cities becoming larger, the streets more crowded. Finally, they arrived in Chicago. The city bustled around them, a cacophony of sounds and sights. Tall buildings scraped the sky, and the streets teemed with people from all walks of life. It was overwhelming, exciting, and a little terrifying. But the family, holding on to each other, ventured into the city, ready to start their new lives. They found their cousin waiting for them, his face breaking into a wide smile when he saw them. He helped them find a place to stay, a modest house with a small yard, but it was theirs. It was a place where they could finally say they owned a home. Over the next few years, they built a life in Chicago. Their children attended school, learning about the world beyond their small town. They joined churches, finding a sense of community and support. And they worked hard, taking on jobs that allowed them to save money and plan for the future. The transition wasn't easy. There were times when the cold Chicago winters seemed endless, when the work was scarce and when the memories of the South felt overwhelming. But they persevered. They held on to their traditions, their faith, and most importantly, they created a haven where the warmth of their shared heritage kept the chill of the winters at bay. In their church, they found solace and strength. And in their shared struggles and triumphs, their bond grew even tighter. The children, born in Chicago, became fluent in the rhythms of the city, yet the stories of their heritage always remained close to their hearts. And so the tale of the family's journey echoes through the years, a testament to the enduring spirit of African Americans, their quiet act of courage. Their decision to leave the only home they had ever known in search of a better life serves as an inspiration. Their story reminds us that the pursuit of a better life is a universal human story, one that resonates across generations and across borders. Just as the family followed the faint whispers of hope to create a better life for themselves, we too are guided by our dreams and aspirations. Their legacy lives on in the lives they built, in the opportunities they created for their children, and in the hope they carried in their hearts. Their story is a quiet hero, a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Part 2. Gathering courage in the night, the decision to leave was not a sudden, dramatic one. It was a quiet, internal process, a gathering of courage that took months, sometimes years. It began with a conversation held in hushed tones after the children were asleep, or a silent, knowing look shared between a husband and wife. There was so much to consider. The family, the land, the church, the very fabric of a life woven over generations. To leave was to tear that fabric, to choose the unknown over the familiar. But the letters kept arriving, and the whispers grew a little louder. They spoke of the North's need for workers in its booming factories, of a chance for education for one's children, and of a life where a person could simply be. This was not the loud call of a political movement, but a quiet invitation. The motivation was not revenge or rebellion. It was hope. Hope for a future that seemed impossible in the South. The preparation was a quiet, intensely personal act. A favorite quilt was folded with care. A few cherished possessions were packed into a single, sturdy suitcase. A final walk was taken through the family land, a silent farewell to the fields, the trees, and the memories that had defined a life. As Julisten imagined the quiet preparations for a long journey, the soft click of a suitcase latch, the gentle rustle of a folded blanket, feel the immense courage and the sense of quiet resolve that filled the hearts of those who chose to leave. Let the profound stillness of that final night carry you into a state of deep, undisturbed sleep. Now let's move on to the next part of the story. Part 3. A new day dawns. The first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of rose and gold as the travelers set out on their journey. The air was crisp, carrying with it the promise of a new day and the weight of countless dreams. Their destination, the North, beckoned with the faint glow of distant factory lights, representing both opportunity and uncertainty. The road stretched before them, a ribbon of gray winding through the sleepy southern towns and across the vast, open fields. Each mile marker passed was a silent testament to the bravery of those who walked away from the only life they had ever known. The rhythm of their journey was dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. With each sunrise, they chased the illusion of time, hoping to outrun the past that shadowed their every step. Under the sheltering cloak of night, they huddled around flickering firelight, sharing stories and fears. The younger members of the group, wide-eyed and innocent, listened intently, while the elders nodded, their faces etched with the lines of shared experience and quiet resilience. In the darkness, their bonds deepened, forged in the crucible of their common journey. As the moon climbed higher in the inky canvas above, guiding stars began to wink into existence. The travelers, too, became specks of light against the encroaching darkness, their presence a beacon in the vast emptiness, their unity a constellation of hope in the face of an uncertain future. And then, just as the darkest moments often precede the first hint of dawn, a change occurred. A shift in the collective consciousness swept through the group, replacing fear with determination, uncertainty with resolve. United by their shared purpose and fortified by their unbreakable bonds, they marched forward into the unknown, their silhouettes growing larger, against the fading twilight, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to dream of a better tomorrow. Now, close your eyes and picture this. The early hours of the morning, mist hanging low and heavy in the valleys, the sun struggling to peek over the horizon. You're a traveler on this journey north. The air is thick with anticipation and uncertainty. The road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, but the travelers are resolute. Te press on their steps, echoing the rhythm of their hopes and dreams. As you listen to the sound of their footsteps, feel the weight of their determination in every stride. Hear the crunch of gravel underfoot, the soft thud of boots on the packed earth, the faint whisper of wind rustling through tall grasses that lined the path. Imagine the travelers pausing for a moment to catch their breath, to wipe the sweat from their brows, to share a quick word of encouragement. Feel the camaraderie among them, the bonds of shared purpose and unspoken understanding. Let the steady cadence of their journey lull you into a state of peaceful contemplation, a place where dreams take flight and the spirit of adventure and resilience guides the way. Now, let's continue our story. Part 4. Whispers of freedom. As the journey continued, the travelers began to hear whispers. At first, they were faint murmurs carried on the wind, but as the days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They spoke of a place where the sun shone brighter, where the air tasted sweeter, and where the chains of oppression had been broken. These whispers were not mere figments of their imagination, but echoes of a growing movement, a symphony of voices yearning for freedom and equality. The travelers found themselves walking not just for themselves, but for all those who had dared to dream of a better world. The whispers became their compass, guiding them through the long days and sleepless nights. They told of a community in the north where African Americans were building schools, churches, and homes, where their children could learn and grow without the shadow of prejudice hanging over them. It was a vision of a society that seemed utopian, yet it was real, taking root and flourishing in the fertile soil of hard work and determination. As the travelers drew closer to their destination, the whispers intensified, morphing into a chorus of hope. They spoke of jobs in factories and farms, of wages that could lift families out of poverty, and of a life where dignity and respect were not mere aspirations, but given rights. The chorus swelled, carrying with it the laughter of children, the murmur of evening conversations, and the steady hum of a community thriving in its newfound freedom. It was a melody that resonated deep within their souls, stirring memories of a heritage almost forgotten and a future they were determined to create. Now, let's move on to the next part of the story, Part 5. The City of Dreams. As the travelers approached the city, a palpable tension filled the air, a blend of apprehension and excitement that mirrored the turmoil in their hearts. The city, a bustling hub of industry and commerce, loomed before them, promising a new life and echoing with the hopes and dreams of countless others who had sought refuge within its urban embrace. For some, the city was a place of second chances, a canvas on which they could paint a future free from the constraints of their past. For others, it was a symbol of economic opportunity, a magnet drawing them towards the promise of better jobs and financial stability. Yet beneath this veneer of progress and prosperity, the city also concealed its share of challenges. The travelers, like many before them, carried with them the scars of a history marred by prejudice and systemic inequalities. They knew that their journey was far from over, that the quest for acceptance and equality would be an ongoing battle. As they ventured deeper into the city, the cacophony of urban life enveloped them. The rhythmic clatter of horse-drawn carts mingled with the hiss of steam engines and the murmur of countless human voices. Skyscrapers clawed at the heavens, casting long shadows that spoke of both ambition and the relentless march of industrialization. The travelers, with their worn clothing and tired faces, were but a small footnote in the city's grand narrative, yet their stories were no less significant. Theirs was a journey not just about finding work or a better life, but about preserving their dignity, their heritage, and their dreams in the face of adversity. Now, let's go on to the next part of the story. Part 6. Finding their footing, finding work was just the beginning. Each job was a new set of challenges, a test of endurance and resilience. In the harsh glare of the factory lights or the dusty expanse of construction sites, their bodies grew weary, their hands calloused, their spirits occasionally flagging, but they persevered, drawing strength from the belief that each day as toil brought them one step closer to a better life for themselves and their children. On the job, they were met with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Some of their co-workers, hardened by years of labor and prejudice, were initially resistant, their skepticism evident in their curt words and averted gazes. But slowly, as the travelers demonstrated their skills and dedication, barriers began to crumble. Acts of kindness, however small, started to bridge the divide. A shared meal helping hand, or a simple nod of acknowledgement became the building blocks of trust and camaraderie. As the weeks turned into months, the travelers, though still outsiders, started to find their footing. They formed tight-knit communities, finding solace and strength in numbers. Churches became anchors, providing not just spiritual guidance, but also a sense of belonging and purpose. The travelers, once strangers in a strange land, were now part of a vibrant tapestry, their individual threads weaving together to form a rich, intricate whole. Despite the hardships and the occasional setbacks, there was a quiet sense of triumph in their everyday lives. It was in the laughter of children playing on street corners, in the aroma of home-cooked meals wafting from open windows, and in the quiet pride with which they carried themselves. It was a testament to their resilience, their adaptability, and their unwavering pursuit of a better life. The city, once a daunting maze of challenges, had become their proving ground, a place where with each passing day, they not only survived, but thrived. proving that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit could endure and triumph. And so the story continues. The train was the vessel of this great journey. It was a symbol of both farewell and new beginnings. On the day of departure, there were no grand parades or loud goodbyes. There were quiet embraces at the station, the hushed farewells of family members who knew this might be the last time they ever saw each other. Then, a slow climb aboard, a quiet shuffle into a train car. The sound of the train was a steady, rhythmic lullaby, the gentle clickety-clack of the wheels on the tracks, the soft hiss of the steam. It was a sound that both soothed and energized, a constant reminder that you were moving, steadily and surely, toward a new life. As the train traveled north, the landscape outside the window began to change, slowly, almost imperceptibly. The familiar fields gave way to new towns, new rivers, and a sense of vast, open space. The conversations in the train cars were hushed. People sat in a shared state of anticipation, their minds filled with silent hopes and quiet fears. Welcome to part 3 of our journey. We trust that you've enjoyed the previous parts and are ready to continue your journey with us. Your comfort and relaxation are our top priorities, which is why we've designed this episode to be as soothing and calming as possible. Our aim is to guide you into a state of tranquility and peace, allowing you to fully embrace the present moment and let go of any tension or stress. As you settle in, we encourage you to close your eyes and picture yourself on a train traveling through a picturesque landscape. The rhythmic chugging of the train as it moves along the tracks creates a soothing melody that lulls you into a state of deep relaxation. Feel the gentle rocking motion of the train cars, a comforting rhythm that has the power to calm your mind and ease your worries. The train's steady movement carries you forward, leaving behind the familiar sights and sounds of your daily life. As you look out the window, you see the world go by in a peaceful blur. Fields, forests, and charming towns drift past, creating a sense of serenity and tranquility. Inside the train car, a diverse group of passengers are quietly anticipating their journey's end. Each person has their own story, dreams and aspirations that drive them forward. Among them is a young woman named Evelyn. Her eyes are fixed on the horizon, her mind filled with thoughts of a new life awaiting her in the north. She is leaving behind a past that no longer serves her and is embracing the unknown with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Beside her sits an elderly gentleman, his eyes closed, lost in memories of his own. His face is etched with the stories of a life well lived, his heart full of nostalgia for days gone by. He, too, is on a journey, not just to a new place, but to a new chapter in his soul. As the train continues its journey, the landscape outside the window shifts and changes. Rolling hills give way to towering mountains, their snow-capped peaks piercing the sky. You feel a sense of awe and wonder, humbled by the beauty of the natural world. The train slows down, signaling that it's nearing its destination. Evelyn takes a deep breath, her heart pounding with a mixture of emotions. She knows that this moment has been a long time coming, and now that it's here, she feels a rush of adrenaline mixed with anticipation. The elderly gentleman opens his eyes, a faint smile touching his lips. He's been here before, in this place where mountains touch the sky, and the familiar sights bring back a flood of cherished memories. He can almost hear the echoes of laughter and the strumming of a distant guitar. The train finally comes to a stop, and the doors slide open, inviting the passengers to disembark. Evelyn steps out onto the platform, blinking in the bright sunlight. The air is fresh and crisp, carrying the scent of pine and wildflowers. She takes a deep breath, feeling invigorated and ready to start this new chapter in her life. The elderly gentleman slowly gets up from his seat, his joints creaking in protest, but his heart is light with the joy of being alive and on this journey of discovery. He, too, is eager to explore the wonders that await him. As the passengers begin to file out of the train, the sound of their footsteps echoes in the now silent carriage. The rhythmic clickety-clack of the wheels on the tracks fades into the distance as the train pulls away from the station. Evelyn turns to look back at the train, a symbol of the journey she's just completed. She can't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the experience and the growth it has brought her. The elderly gentleman stands watching the train disappear around the bend. A single tear rolls down his cheek, a mixture of sadness and happiness. He will miss the journey, the people he's met, and the memories he's made along the way. But he knows that this is not goodbye, for the journey is always with him, in his heart and in his soul. The station bustles with activity as new passengers arrive, their faces filled with anticipation and hope. Some are starting their journeys, while others are continuing on to their next destination. The cycle of life goes on, just as the rhythm of the train never ceases. For those who have reached their final stop, their journeys may be ending, but for many more, the adventure continues. They board the train, eager to explore new horizons and discover what lies ahead. The train, a constant in their lives, carries them forward, promising new beginnings and the promise of home. The engine starts up, sending a puff of smoke billowing into the air. The train begins to move, gathering speed as it leaves the station. The rhythmic chugging of the wheels on the tracks fills the air, a familiar lullaby that soothes the soul. Inside the carriage, the atmosphere is one of anticipation and quiet excitement. People settle into their seats, each lost in their own thoughts as they contemplate what lies ahead. For some, it's a journey of self-discovery, while for others, it's a chance to escape the past and embrace the unknown. The train, with its rhythmic cadence, becomes a vessel of hope and dreams, carrying its passengers towards their destinies. The sun streams through the windows, casting warm rays on the passengers. The light dances in their eyes, reflecting the spark of adventure that burns within. The elderly gentleman looks out the window, watching the world go by. He sees families waving goodbye to their loved ones, young couples holding hands, and solitary travelers lost in thought. Each person has their own story, their own reason for being on this journey. He wonders about their dreams, their fears, and their hopes for the future. As the train picks up speed, the sound of the wheels on the tracks fades into the background, replaced by the gentle murmur of conversations and the clinking of cups. People chat excitedly, sharing stories and making new friends. Laughter echoes through the carriage, mingling with the aroma of coffee and freshly baked goods. The atmosphere is one of camaraderie and shared experience, a sense of community that forms among the passengers. As the journey continues, the landscape outside the window changes. Rolling hills give way to lush green valleys, dotted with quaint towns and villages. Rivers shimmer in the sunlight, reflecting the beauty of the sky above. Mountains rise in the distance, their peaks touching the clouds. The passengers are captivated by the ever-changing scenery, each moment bringing new wonders to behold. The elderly gentleman leans back in his seat, a sense of contentment washing over him. He's grateful for this moment, for the opportunity to witness the beauty of the world around him. The journey has become more than just a means of transportation. It's a celebration of life itself, a reminder to appreciate the simple joys that surround him. With each passing mile, the train carries its passengers closer to their destinations. For some, it's a return to familiar places, while for others, it's a journey into the unknown. Regardless of their final stop, all the passengers know that this moment of unity, of shared experience, will stay with them long after the journey ends. The train slows down, signaling that it's approaching its next stop. Passengers stir from their seats, preparing to disembark. The elderly gentleman rises slowly, his eyes twinkling with the joy of the journey. He takes a deep breath, savoring the memories he's made and the friendships he's forged during this adventure. As the train pulls away from the station, he waves to the people he's met on his journey, wishing them well on their own adventures. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit of adventure, he continues his exploration of the world, embracing each moment as a precious gift. And as you finish this part, welcome to this episode and to the fourth part of our journey. Here, the air is thick with anticipation. Each step echoes with dreams, hopes, and stories waiting to be written. The year is 1930. The destination, the bustling heart of New York City. Our travelers are ready to embark on a new chapter. Some come with savings tucked away, others with nothing but their ambition and a prayer. The question hangs in the air. What will this new place hold for them? Will it be a haven or a heartache? Only time will tell. Their arrival is not a loud, chaotic rush. It's a quiet moment of disorientation. Many have never seen a large city before. The sheer scale is a quiet shock. Buildings touch the sky, streets stretch endlessly, and crowds seem to pour from every nook and cranny. Sounds are different, too. There's the distant rumble of the subway echoing beneath the city's skin, the soft clang of a streetcar bell cutting through the air, the low, constant hum of a city that never truly sleeps. A million stories unfold in this symphony of urban life. The city's heartbeat resonates with a rhythm all its own, and our travelers are about to find their place within it. The first few days are a quiet search, a search for a room in a boarding house, a small corner of the city that could feel like home. They search for work, to a silent, humble process of going from door to door, of being judged not just on your skills, but on the quiet dignity with which you carry yourself. There's no fanfare, no trumpets blaring, only the quiet persistence of those who refuse to be deterred. They navigate crowded streets, the smell of baking bread mingling with the scent of horse-drawn carts. Each face they pass tells a story, each building a testament to dreams once held by someone just like them. And slowly, very slowly, they begin to find their footing. They discover small pockets of their homeland, a taste of familiarity in a sea of the unknown. In these spaces, they find solace, maybe a bit of music that reminds them of home, the soft lilt of their native tongue. These moments are like anchors in a storm, grounding them in the midst of a world that's entirely new. The city is not a welcoming embrace, but a quiet invitation. It offers challenges and chances, victories and defeats. Every sunrise brings a new set of circumstances, a new set of choices. And while the path ahead remains shrouded in uncertainty, there's a quiet confidence in their eyes, a reflection of the strength it took to take this first step. This is a story about resilience, about the quiet courage it takes to start over. It's a story whispered in the quiet corners of the city, carried on the wind that rustles through the canyons of steel and glass. It's a story that doesn't need loud drums or trumpets, for its heroism lies in the everyday acts of those who dared to dream and dared to reach for those dreams. The city's grandeur may be its backdrop, but it's the quiet, determined steps of these immigrants that truly make the music of the city. Their journey is not an easy one, but they're not daunted. They've left behind not just a homeland, but a life of struggle. Here, in this concrete jungle, there's a chance for something better. For some, it's the promise of a decent wage. For others, the hope of a safer, more just life. Whatever their reasons, they move forward, one step at a time. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. They learn the city's rhythm, its ebb and flow, its hidden gems, and its harsh realities. They encounter kindness and cruelty, opportunity and despair, all in equal measure. They see fellow immigrants, drawn to the city's glow from every corner of the globe, each with their own stories, their own dreams. They become part of a mosaic, a patchwork quilt of humanity, all brought together by the city's relentless churn. In the evenings, they gather in small, crowded rooms, sharing stories, hopes, and fears. There's a quiet solidarity here, a sense of shared purpose that transcends language and custom. They might speak different tongues, but they share the same hopes and dreams for a better life. They find comfort in the familiar cadence of their native languages, the lilting tones that echo memories of home. Music fills these small spaces, a lively accordion weaving tales of love and loss, of joy and sorrow. They dance, they sing, they dream, and in their dreams, they sometimes glimpse the wide-open spaces of their homeland, the rolling hills, the babbling brooks, the scent of blooming orchards. But these are not simple dreams. They're layered with longing, with a deep-seated ache for a past that can never be reclaimed. Yet there's no bitterness in their voices, only a quiet acceptance of their fate. They've come too far to turn back now. They work long and hard, often in the dead of night, in factories that hum with the energy of countless dreams. The clanging of machinery mingles with the murmur of countless languages, creating a strange harmony of industry. The city around them thrums with activity. Pedestrians hurry along the crowded sidewalks. Horse-drawn carriages clatter over the cobblestones, and the distant wail of a police siren cuts through the air. But amidst this clamor, there's a quiet determination in their eyes, a reflection of the strength it takes to keep going. They don't just work to earn a living. They work to build a life, brick by painstaking brick. Their hands, roughened by labor, are not just tools for survival. They're instruments of creation, shaping their destinies one task at a time. Sundays bring a different rhythm to the city. The steady hum of industry gives way to a softer melody, the murmur of church bells echoing in the canyons of buildings. They gather in modest places of worship, seeking solace and strength in the face of their struggles. Within these four walls, there's a sense of community, a feeling of belonging that sustains them through the week. As the years roll by, the city evolves around them, skyscrapers reaching for the heavens, streetcars clanging a familiar tune. The newcomers adapt, learning the city's secrets. Its hidden parks, its bustling markets, its quiet nooks, where dreams are born and nurtured. They send money home, easing the burdens of those left behind, becoming, in their own small way, a lifeline for their families. They face discrimination, prejudice, and poverty, but their spirit remains unbroken. They stand shoulder to shoulder, their differences fading in the face of their common struggles. The city's lights may twinkle above them, but their inner strength shines brighter. They are not just names in a crowd, nor statistics in a book. They are individuals with beating hearts and dreams as boundless as the city itself. Through it all, the city keeps changing, growing, evolving. And so do they. Their children, born in the city's embrace, speak with a new accent, a blend of old and new, reflecting the city's own character. They run and play in the streets, their laughter echoing the city's own joyous spirit. And when the sun sets, they gather together, their families, their communities, their adopted city. They share stories, hopes, and dreams, their voices weaving a tapestry of resilience and pride. The city, once a daunting giant, now feels like home. Its sounds, its sights, its smells, all part of their lives. They've integrated, assimilated, yet they've held on to their traditions, their cultures, their belief systems, all testaments to their enduring spirits. As we end this episode, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey thus far. We've seen the struggles, the triumphs, and the quiet determination of those who dared to chase their dreams. The city has been both a challenge and a sanctuary, a harsh taskmaster and a generous host. Our travelers have shown us what it means to be resilient, adaptable, and most importantly, human. Remember the quiet courage that fueled their steps, the unwavering determination that guided their choices, and the indomitable spirit that kept them going. Let their stories inspire you, their resilience strengthen you, and their dreams remind you of the power of the human spirit. Now it's time to rest, to close your eyes and let the city's lullaby carry you into a deep slumber. Imagine the gentle lapping of waves against a distant shore, the soft whisper of leaves rustling in the evening breeze, and the comforting hum of crickets serenading the night. Let the rhythm of nature's song envelop you, soothing your worries and calming your mind. As you drift off to sleep, may your dreams be filled with hope, your heart with peace, and your journey with endless possibilities. Sweet dreams. In Part Quattro, we talked about the journey, the long, arduous trip north for many African Americans in search of better lives. Now, once they got to New York City, what happened next? What was life like for them when they arrived there? Well, let's talk about that today. Welcome back to the series, Chronicles of a Culture, tracing the roots of jazz, blues, and rock and roll. I'm your host. Today is Part 5, where we're going to talk about community. We'll hear some music along the way, too, so sit back and relax. Once a foothold was established, the real work began. The quiet, patient work of building a community. This was not a loud, boisterous process. It was a series of small, deliberate acts. A new church was founded in a quiet basement. A social club was started in a rented room, its meetings filled with laughter and low, comfortable conversation. Families who had made the journey from the same town in the South would gather together, their shared history a source of immense comfort. In these quiet communities, the traditions of the South were preserved and honored. The songs that had been sung in churches in Alabama were now sung in churches in Harlem. The recipes that had been passed down through generations were now cooked in new kitchens. It was a quiet blending of two worlds, a testament to the fact that you can bring a sense of home with you, no matter how far you travel. But it wasn't easy. There were challenges, lots of them. But the community was a source of strength, a quiet refuge in the midst of a loud, sprawling city. It was a place where a person could rest, find solace, and be understood. And understanding was key here. To understand what I mean, let's first look at the Great Migration itself. This mass movement of people from the south to the industrial centers of the north. It was one of the largest internal migrations in U.S. history. Between 1910 and 1930, more than 6 million African Americans left the South for northern cities. They were running from the harsh realities of the Jim Crow-era South, a region where their rights were curtailed, their dignity was disregarded, and their very survival was often threatened. They packed up and they moved north seeking better jobs, better schools, and above all, better lives. Now, imagine yourself in their shoes. You've just left the only home you've ever known, leaving behind family, friends, and a way of life that has been handed down through generations. You are venturing into the unknown, relying on the hope that the future will be better than the present, and that the rumors of a land of opportunity are true. Your journey is fraught with uncertainty. Will you find work? Will you be accepted in a new place? Will you be able to make a life for yourself and your children? These questions echo in your mind, unanswered, yet unforgotten. And then you arrive in New York City, a bustling metropolis that seems to never sleep. The city's energy is intoxicating, its possibilities alluring. But beneath the city's vibrant exterior, you sense a certain tension, a certain reserve. The city's embrace is not as warm as you had hoped. You are a newcomer, an outsider, and the city's indifference can be daunting. Finding a place to live, a job that pays well enough to survive, and a community that offers acceptance can feel like deciphering a cryptic code. The streets are filled with unfamiliar faces, and the rhythm of the city is unlike anything you've ever experienced. But amidst the challenges, there is a glimmer of hope. Stories shared by those who have come before you speak of enclaves of familiarity, pockets of the South that exist within the concrete jungle. These stories become your North Star, guiding you through the maze of the city until you find your own community. Here, the language is a bit slower, the food tastes like home, and the smiles are a bit warmer. It's not quite the South, but it's close. And in this moment of arrival, you realize that the journey is not just about the destination. It's also about the people you meet along the way. The community you seek is not just a place. It's a feeling of belonging, of being understood. It's a space where the echoes of your past resonate with the hopes of your future. It's here, and in this community, you begin to rebuild your life. You'll find work, raise a family, and forge new friendships. The challenges of the city gradually fade away, replaced by the warmth of shared experiences and the comfort of knowing that you are not alone. Now, let me be clear. This community is not an island. It's not a bubble that shields you from the realities of the outside world. Instead, it's a wellspring from which you draw strength to navigate the challenges of a new city. It's a place where you can recharge, reconnect with your cultural roots, and renew your spirit. And so the cycle continues. Generations move north seeking new opportunities, and they carry with them the cultural wealth of the South. In their new homes, they form new communities, giving rise to a rich cultural tapestry that blends the old with the new. The blues, jazz, and rock and roll all tell stories of this journey. The journey out of the South and the search for a better life. They speak of the pain of leaving, the struggle of adapting, and the ultimate triumph of the human spirit. Now, let's take a musical journey through this experience. The first song we're listening to today is Hard Times in Georgia, a song that speaks to the difficult conditions that drove many African Americans out of the South. This song tells a story of struggle, of economic hardship, and the desire for something better. The lyrics paint a vivid picture of a reality that many African Americans were facing in the early 20th century. It's a call for empathy, a plea for understanding, and a testament to the strength of those who endured such hardships. This song is like the first notes of a symphony, setting the tone, establishing the context, and preparing us for the journey that lies ahead. Our next song is city called Chicago Blues. This song celebrates the arrival in Chicago, a city that welcomed many African Americans during the Great Migration. The lyrics capture the excitement, the hope, and the dreams that accompanied this move. For many, Chicago symbolized opportunity, a chance to start anew, and a pathway to a better life. The music swells, the tempo quickens, mirroring the heartbeat of a city that never sleeps, a city full of promise and potential. This is the refrain that echoes in the hearts of many as they step off trains and buses, carrying their hopes and dreams in their suitcases. Next up is I'm on my way to the promised land, a spiritual that speaks to the resilience and the determination of those who faced adversity. The lyrics convey a sense of unwavering faith and the belief in a better future. For many African Americans, the promised land represented a place of freedom, equality, and justice, a place where the harsh realities of the past would become a thing of the past. The melody is strong, the rhythm is steady, reflecting the unwavering spirit of those who dared to dream of a better world. Finally, we have a city called New Orleans. This song captures the essence of community, of finding a sense of belonging in a new place. The lyrics celebrate the cultural richness that African Americans brought with them and the sense of identity that they maintained despite the challenges they faced. The music is lively, the vocals are soulful, and it's an ode to the strength of community, a testament to the enduring power of culture and a celebration of the African American experience. So if you want to learn more about the Great Migration or about the blues, jazz, and rock and roll, it's been a wild ride, hasn't it? A journey that was nothing short of an adventure. But here we are, having walked this path together step by step, and I have to say, it's been a privilege to be your guide. We've laughed, we've cried, we've marveled at the bravery of these people who dared to chase a better life. Now, my friends, as we approach the final leg of this incredible voyage, I want you to do something. Close your eyes if you can. If it's not safe or comfortable where you are, then just rest your gaze on something nearby. Now breathe deeply. Let the air fill your lungs, and with each exhale, let go of any tension, any stress. Allow yourself to drift into a state of calm, of peaceful awareness. And when you're ready, open your eyes and look around you. You might be surprised at what you see. The world can seem new, can seem fresh, as if it's tinted with a light you hadn't noticed before. That's because we've done more than walk a path. We've walked a transformation. And now we're here. The road is long and winding. It twists through forests and over hills. The sun beats down and the dust swirls around them. But they keep going. Their faces are etched with determination, their steps firm. They are strong, resilient people. These travelers, they've been forged in the fires of hardship, tempered by the sweat of their brow. Every ache in their bones, every line on their face tells a story of their strength. They've left behind the familiar landscape of their childhood, the only world they'd known. They braved the uncertainties of the road, the dangers that lurked at every bend. They've faced prejudice, discrimination, all because they dared to dream of a better life. Now they stand on the cusp of a new beginning, a new rhythm of life. Gone are the days defined by the slow, patient cycles of the farming seasons. Now their days are marked by the soft rumble of an alarm clock, the gentle rush of a morning commute. The work is different, yet there's a sense of quiet dignity to it. It's a job that pays a steady wage, a job that allows them to provide for their family without the whims of nature. It is a job that doesn't tie them to the land in the way that had been so limiting in the South. Their children are in school now, their minds opening to a world of new possibilities. They're not just learning to read and write. They're learning to dream big, to aspire to be anything they want to be. In the evenings, the families gather, their conversations filled with the simple, quiet triumphs of the day. A new friend was made at work. A child got a good grade on a test. A small, new piece of furniture was bought for the home. These aren't loud, dramatic victories. They're the quiet, steady moments that make up a good life. Moments you might miss if you're not paying attention. Moments that become the building blocks of a new future. As you settle in, let the silence speak to you. Don't fear the quiet. Embrace Italiano. In its stillness, you'll find a strength that matches your own. You'll find a resilience that echoes your journey. For this is the essence of their story, not just about leaving, but about arriving, about building a new life, brick by brick, dream by dream. It's a story that resonates with anyone who's ever dared to hope for something better. When you listen closely, you'll hear the quiet dignity in their voices, the quiet strength in their smiles. You'll feel the quiet pride that comes from a day's work well done, from a life well lived. There's a quiet joy in their laughter, a quiet contentment in their eyes. They've earned this moment. They've worked hard, dreamed big, and held on to their values and their humanity. There's a quiet power in their unity, the way they've come together, supported each other, shared their hopes and dreams. They've faced their fears together, finding strength in numbers, solace in shared stories. They've built a community, a network of love and support that echoes their journey. As the day winds down, you'll hear the quiet hush of a family settling in for the night, the faint strains of music drifting from a nearby house, the quiet murmur of voices sharing stories of the day. It's a peaceful symphony, a harmonious blend of lives intertwined, and in the quiet darkness of the night, you'll see the stars shining bright. The same stars that guided those who dreamed of a better life, the same stars that witnessed their struggles and their triumphs. The night sky is a vast, silent witness to their journey, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lie ahead. If you can, close your eyes again, letting the darkness envelop you like a soft blanket. Feel the gentle breeze on your skin, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine, the sweet fragrance of honeysuckle. Breathe deeply, allowing the tranquility of the night to wash over you. In the quiet of this moment, you'll find a sense of calm, a feeling of being grounded, centered. You'll feel a profound connection to the earth, to the sky, to the universe itself. It's a humbling experience, a reminder that you are part of something greater than yourself. And as you drift into sleep, you'll be enveloped by a sense of peace. It's a peaceful sleep, untroubled by the worries of the day, undisturbed by the chaos of the world. You're sleeping soundly, knowing that tomorrow will bring new challenges, new opportunities, and you'll face them with the same courage, the same determination that has brought you this far. You're dreaming now, and your dreams are filled with images of a brighter future. You see yourself walking confidently towards your goals, overcoming obstacles with grace and dignity. Your dreams are a testament to the power of the human spirit, the indomitable will to succeed, to thrive, to live a life on your own terms. As the night deepens, the quiet intensifies. It's a profound silence, broken only by the soft whisper of the wind, the gentle rustling of leaves. In this stillness, you'll find a clarity of thought, a sharpness of purpose. The quiet will speak to you, revealing insights, bringing clarity, guiding your path forward. And when the first rays of dawn begin to touch the horizon, you'll wake feeling refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to embrace the new day. You'll greet the sunrise with a sense of wonder, gratitude, and quiet joy. For you know that each day is a gift, an opportunity to create your own story, to add another chapter to the tale of your life. And as you rise, you'll carry with you the essence of the quiet strength, the quiet dignity, the quiet power of a people who dared to dream and dared to leave. You'll walk into the day with a lighter step, a clearer vision, a stronger heart, and as the sun climbs higher in the sky, ULL. Look back at the journey you've shared with those who dared to leave, and ULL smile. You'll smile because you've witnessed their strength, their resilience, their unwavering spirit. You'll smile because you've walked a part of their journey, and in doing so, you've walked a part of your own. So go now and carry the quiet strength within you. Let it guide you, inspire you, empower you. Go now and be the change you want to see in the world. Go now and live a life of quiet dignity, quiet strength, and quiet power. Thank you for walking this journey with us. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for sharing in the experience. Until next time, may your days be filled with the quiet strength of those who dared to leave. May your nights be filled with the quiet dignity of their dreams. And may your life be filled with the quiet power of their unwavering spirit. The Great Migration, Part 7. The Quiet Legacy. It's hard to say exactly when the Great Migration ended. There wasn't a particular day or event that marked the end. It was more like the gradual fading of a dream that had pulsed with the energy of hundreds of thousands of people over many decades. Like the last notes of a song fading into the quiet of the night, the Great Migration left behind a legacy that wasn't shouted from rooftops or carved in stone. It was whispered in the music of a new land, woven in the everyday lives of families who dared to dream of a better life, and etched in the hearts of those who carried their ancestors' hopes on their shoulders. For over half a century, from the early 1900s to the late 1950s, African Americans by the millions packed their belongings, kissed their loved ones goodbye, and boarded trains that rattled them north. They left behind the only life they'd ever known: the dusty roads, The hot summers and the even hotter tempers of the Jim Crow South. They traveled across the country, hoping for a better deal and an uncertain future. Their destination, the industrial centers of the North and the promise of new opportunities. But the Great Migration wasn't just about leaving. It was also about arriving. It was about transforming a dream into reality, brick by brick, job by job, child by child. It was a quiet revolution that changed the face of America. A revolution that didn't rely on violence, but on the quiet, steady flow of humanity. The migrants wove themselves into the fabric of the cities they settled in. They brought with them the